last month, I brought a series where I discussed underrated anime of each decade. Now grab your tissue boxes and start sniffling because it's time to end it. This is the final video of the series where I speak about the good old underrated stuff from 2021 to 2025. Let's go. Set in a near-future AI revolution, Tawasa Omagi is a prodigy whose adopted brother, Akira, is her biggest supporter. When a shooter guns them both down at a pivotal shareholders meeting, Akira wakes up centuries later in a ruined world where civilization has collapsed and knowledge is controlled by a powerful organization called OWL. Just as he's about to get executed, an android named Yugure destroys his captors and proposes marriage on the spot. Oh, and she looks exactly like Tawasa.
Akira, 私と結婚してください.
A lot of people seem mad because they expected a totally different show, but that's their own mix-up. The pacing shift after episode 1 feels pretty weird, but everything happens as a reason behind it. Akira's story isn't just action and chaos. Underneath all of it are questions about love, identity, and what makes survival worth it. Yes, there is the good old harem stuff and Japan's favorite trope in here, but it's still worth a shot.
大丈夫ですか?
Takumi Miyasaka shows up to what he thinks is a fancy restaurant gig, only to find a crumbling board house called Astro Lodge. He takes the breakfast chef job anyway, mostly because he's already fallen for the milady Mira Gorokuji. Mira's quirky and can't figure out modern tech, barely knows Japanese food, and has a mysterious voice coming from her room. Yeah, you guessed it right, she's an alien. But hey, that doesn't stop my boy from loving her.
いただきます.
How do I say this? It's like a modern day mix-up of Mason Ikoku. You've got the average guy falling for the landlady, you got the crazy maniacs living in the boarding house, and all the good old tropes kicking back in. Other than that, the setup alone sells it. A chef falling for his landlady who happens to be an alien? That's a rom-com premise you don't see every day. And the eccentric boarding house cast gives it that cozy, found family energy you get in these kinds of shows.
楽しいですよ. ご一緒にいかがです?
Remember the Tatami Galaxy? Yeah, I got a sequel. Yojuhan Time Machine Blues takes place on a hot Kyoto summer day, where a protagonist's one salvation, his air conditioner, gets sabotaged when the bumbling Ozu spills soda on the remote. With the heat becoming unbearable, the group finds an actual time machine in their storage room and does what any rational person would do: travels back in time just to grab the TV remote. But just like every time traveler anime ever, this gives an entire butterfly effect and changes their futures forever.
空を見上げる彼女はこれまでに見たこともないほど満足そうであった。
Ah, man, I love this. I already loved Tatami Galaxy, but now with the whole time-traveling twist, this show's peak. It's essentially the Tatami Galaxy's fun little cousin who showed up unannounced and somehow fit right in. The character dynamics are the real draw here. Watching Akashi clearly trying to get the protagonist's attention while he remains hilariously oblivious hits closer to home, and you've got this unique eye-popping art and animation to keep you hooked, too.
僕だってそう思うよ. 西村さんはクールでかっこいいからね. だから僕はもっと西村さんと仲良くなりたいんだよ.
Akane Nishimura is the class outcast, quiet and tense-eyed, and called the Grim Reaper because her classmates decided her stare brings bad luck. Yeah, kids are cruel. This leads to relentless bullying while everyone keeps their distance. That is until transfer student Taiyu Yakata shows up completely unbothered by the rumors. Dude's obsessed with the supernatural, so a cursed girl sounds like a jackpot to him.
僕の方が何倍も何倍も嬉しいからね. 西村さんと友達になれて.
It's always nice to see the bullied kid get a wholesome friend, and that is the setup this show sells. And it sells it well. A misunderstood quiet girl and an endlessly optimistic boy who genuinely wants to understand her rather than to fix her. That dynamic writes itself beautifully. And I know it starts off with bullying, but this is a rom-com anime, so you get tons of wholesome romantic comedy moments mixed in.
光は本当に綺麗だ。
In a world where rising sea levels have swallowed most of humanity's land, Natsuki Ikaruga, a brilliant graduate who has lost his leg in a submarine accident, is barely scraping by on a near-deserted island. Everything changes when he discovers Atri, an advanced humanoid robot built by his late grandmother, a renowned climatologist. Atri looks and acts like a young girl, remembers she has an important mission, but has no clue what it actually is.
どういう目線で言っているんだ。
こういう目線ですが。
わからないか。
Yep, this is one of those anime that sneaks up on you. Come on, Robot Girl, really melancholic OSTs here and there, and the good old character designs. If you've watched enough anime, you know where this is heading. But no spoilers, the post-apocalyptic setting somehow doesn't feel bleak. Life on that island feels warm, even hopeful, which is a tough balance to pull off. Every side character from Minamo to Catherine has enough depth to actually make you care. And the story also builds tension gradually despite being a slice of life half the time.
それは別腹と言いますか。
ですが、
私の人生の楽しみを奪わないでください。
Time to go to church, kids. You've already seen enough. This anime follows the quiet, wholesome life of Pastor Lawrence, who cares for the cute and wholesome Saint Cecilia in a small hilltop church. Cecilia's divine powers protect the villagers from spiritual harm, and she's the picture of grace and dignity in public. Behind closed doors, though, she's a total mess. She's lazy, goofy, completely head over heels for Lawrence, who somehow remains completely unaware like every romance protagonist.
よくわかりません。
娘に欲しかったな。
だからなんで私を見るんです？
This show is genuinely one of the most soothing watches I've had in ages. And I'm not exaggerating. Cecilia and Lawrence just have this incredibly delicate dynamic where even small things like cooking or cleaning together hits different because of how much warmth exists between them. The side characters, Hazelita and Abel, are basically us, screaming at Lawrence to wake up and notice her. The episodes where Cecilia's past as a saint gets explored unexpectedly punch you in the gut emotionally. But hey, it's still a nice slice of life rom-com.
猫。
Netflix did a rom-com right. Romantic Killer follows Anzu Hoshino, a high schooler whose entire personality is video games, chocolate, and her cat. Then a flying wizard named Riri crashes out of her otame game, takes everything she loves, and basically forces her into a real-life dating sim. And now we've got a parade of ridiculously attractive boys. Kudere, a childhood friend, a narcissist, and a mystery route.
何言ってんだ、寝ぼけてんのか。幼馴染の顔忘れるなんて。
What makes this show stand out from your average rom-com is that the comedy carries the whole thing. As a guy, I'm not a huge fan of reverse harems, but when it's done right, like Orin High School Host Club, you can agree that's a great show. Watching Anzu actively dodge every romantic flag Riri sets up, while simultaneously getting pulled deeper into each guy's backstory, is genuinely entertaining. And as a guy who plays a lot of visual novels back in the day, the whole romantic progression route hits right in the feels because the romance takes a back seat, but still moves forward in a way that mirrors actual VN route progression.
さっきから何聞いてるんですか？
いや、大きい音昔から苦手で、実は何も聞いてなくて。
Grab some popcorn because it's time for a movie. Yui Cherry Sakura is a quiet haiku writing introvert whose poetry gets zero attention online. Yuki Smile Hoshino is a cheerful influencer who hides behind a mask because she's insecure about her teeth. When a chance encounter lands them both working at the same welfare faculty, they team up to help an elderly man named Fujiyama track down a vinyl record before his fading memories take it with him forever.
そういえば最近つけてないね。
必要ないし。
There are two kinds of romance anime. Romance anime just there for love, and romance anime that carry a good message along with it. This belongs to the second category. Two socially awkward people, each hiding something about themselves, thrown together on what is essentially an emotional scavenger hunt for an old man's last wish. That's some really good storytelling that also tells about teenage insecurities as well as social media. So Gen Z kids, go watch it.
参謀さんは器が大きいんですね。
なんだこの感情は。胸が苦しい。
参謀さん。
What if Earth's mightiest heroes weren't the Avengers and just a magical girl? Well, you could make Thanos fall in love with you. A ruthless alien lieutenant named Miller leads an invasion against Earth, targeting a city protected by magical girl Byakuya Mimori. Their first encounter completely derails his mission when he falls head over heels for her at first sight. Instead of destroying the city, he starts showering her with gifts, giving her pep talks and simping hard.
参謀さんに会えたから。参謀さん、怒ってます。
So, yeah, an evil alien falling for the girl he's supposed to destroy. I should be saying it's an enemies to lovers story, but this guy falls at first sight. They weren't enemies for even 2 seconds. The forbidden lovers angle hits hard because watching Mina and Mimori slowly realize how much they enjoy each other's company, despite being sworn enemies, is genuinely satisfying. Mimori's sheltered naivety means every moment with Mira is her discovering the outside world, which makes their dynamic incredibly sweet and wholesome. Oh, and it's done by my boys at Studio Bones.
かわいいな。
その手話、この前教えたやつ。
Yuki Itose is a hearing-impaired university student whose world is quiet and small. Just campus, her best friend Rin, and text messages. That changes when she meets Itsumi Nagi, a multilingual travel enthusiast who doesn't make her disability awkward or weird. He just rolls with it. That one small moment kicks off something bigger as these two slowly let each other into their very different worlds.
わかった。わかった。
この手を握っているのに、いつおみさんの手のひらの上にいるみたいで。
This show is the anime equivalent of a warm cup of tea. What makes it work is how Yuki and Itsumi actually try. Where most romance anime would milk every miscommunication for cheap drama, this one has its characters actively work through problems together, which honestly hits different. Itsumi especially grows on you. Once you understand his background, he's basically the greenest flag in the genre. It's one of the most wholesome anime of the decade, and if you miss it, you're missing one sweet, cozy cup of tea.